And now it is time to explore the do-while loop in Java. So here inside the IntelliJ IDE, let us now check out the syntax of do-while loop along with the basic example. So first of all, for the do-while loop as well, we need to have our counter variable. And then we need to use the syntax of do followed by curly bracket open and close that makes our block. So within this do, we need to write our code. Now, in case of do while loop, first we execute our code and then we check the condition by using the while keyword. So while your condition and end it with the help of a semicolon. And now what about the increment and decrement of the counter variable? So right after the code, you can either increment or decrement your counter variable. Now let us write a very simple program with the help of the do while loop so as to understand its syntax better. So I will again ask you to write a very simple program to print out the natural numbers till 10. That is starting from 0, 1, 2, 3 till 10, like we did in case of while loop in Java. So initially let us initialize our counter variable. So for that again let us use int count equal to 0. And right within the do block, what we need to do is here let us write our print statement. Sout, let us print out the counter variable of count. Now, soon after this, it's our job to increment the counter by let's say count equal to count plus 1. And again, we can replace it by using the operator of postfix. So count plus plus. And now, within the condition, we have to make sure that our counter variable never crosses the value of 10. So the count variable should always be smaller than equal to 10. So let us now run the code. So there we go, we are getting the desired result starting from 0 and ending at 10. So with each iteration, these two lines of code are executed and the value of count is incremented starting from 0 till 10. And when this condition becomes false, then it simply breaks out and these two lines of code are no longer executed. Now, let us write a very simple program with the help of do while loop so as to make your concept more clear. So here, I will ask you to write a program to add numbers until the user enters 0. What I mean is, you have to ask user to enter any number at any given point of time. And whatever numbers that user will enter, we will add all those numbers. And when the user enters 0, then we will simply display the result in the output console. That is the sum of all the numbers that the user has entered. Now to take the user input, we need to use the class of scanner, right? We all know from our previous videos. So let us use scanner space scanner equal to new scanner and pass in system.in. So let us use do and at the end we need to write our while keyword to check the condition. Now this time our condition will be that to check if user has entered 0 or not. If the user has entered 0 as a number, then simply break out of the loop. So for that we need to have a variable. Let's say int number equal to, let's initialize it to 0 at first. And now within the do block, let us first print out a statement to tell the user to enter a number. And now soon after this statement, let us use our scanner to get the user input. So scanner dot next int. Now since we are using int here, right? So that is why I am using next int. Let us assign this to, let's say, number variable. So whatever input the user will give, it will be stored inside the number variable. Now here I am using scanner.nextInt that will only accept a whole number, that is 3 or 4 or 65 or some integer value. Now what if the user enters 65.7, which is actually a floating point value? So to handle such input by the user, we have to make our program more robust. So instead of int, let us use the double that will accept the floating point value, that is the decimal value. And instead of next int, let us use next double, right? Because we are not sure what user will actually enter. And now in order to find the sum of all the number, we need to have one more variable. So let us again use double keyword space sum. Initially let us make it 0. And then let us use sum equal to sum plus number. Now, instead of sum equal to sum plus number, let us modify our code by using the plus equal to operator. Sum plus equal to number, right? And within the condition, we have to break out of the loop if the user has entered 0. So if the number which is actually inputted by the user is equal to 0, then break out of the loop. And if it is not equal to 0, then simply continue with our process. Soon after this, let us print out the sum. The sum is simply print out the sum. Let us now run the code. So there we go, at the end enter the number. Let's input 3. Then again enter a number 6.5. Enter a number 3.9, 345, and so on. Let us enter few more number, and at the end to exit out of the loop, let us enter 0 and hit enter. And there we go, we are now finished with our program, and the final sum is 379.4. And now at the end, I would like you to notice few things in case of do while loop. Compared to the while loop, in case of do while loop, if you notice, first we are executing our code. Whatever code that we are writing here, we are executing it first, irrespective of our condition is true or false, right? So even if we are having a false condition here, then also our code is getting executed at least once. So this is the difference between the while loop and do while loop. So this was all about the do while loop in Java.